My mother smiled when my fiancé tilde copyright got down on one near broken bar, but behind that smile, she was already scheming. She tried to ruin my engagement publicly, cruelly, and with a level of pettiness I didn't think a mother was capable of. But what she didn't know, I was done playing the obedient daughter. And she had no idea the wedding would go in a broken bar without her. If you've ever had a toxic family member try to control your life or steal your momenta, then buckle in. This story has betrayal, heartbreak, a broken bar, and the sweetest justice a mother-in-law from hell never saw coming. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let's get into. My mother tried to trip my engagement ring. Revenge story, picking up where the full narrative left off. This edition will deepen emotional complexity, add family fallout, post-wedding confrontation, and closure, keeping the listener fully emotionally invested for a 25–30 minute runtime. The days following the wedding were quiet. No screaming matches. No tearful calls. No sarcastic jabs disguised as advice. Just a silence that felt like I was walking out of a storm I hadn't realized I was living in for most of my life. At first, I didn't know what to do with the silence. It was disorienting, like standing up too fast and feeling the world shift beneath your feet. I kept waiting for a knock on the door. For a letter. For some dramatic, guilt-laced explosion from my mom. But all I got to broken bar was radio silence. And oddly enough, it gave me room to breathe. Sam and I went on our honeymoon, a simple cabin retreat in the Smoky Mountains. No Instagram posts. No just married parades. Just the two of us, wrapped in flannel and forests, with no one around to tell me I wasn't enough or that my choices were wrong. One night, while sipping tea on the porch, I finally allowed myself to speak the thing I'd been holding in for weeks. "Do you think I was too harsh?" I asked Sam, quietly. He didn't answer right away. He just looked at me, really looked. Then he said, "Elena, a broken bar, you didn't cut your mom off because she insulted a ring. You cut her off because for the first time in your life, you chose you. And she couldn't handle it." And that's when it really hit me, this wasn't about jewelry, or even the wedding. This was about control. My mother had always seen my life as her extension. My success? Her doing. My failures? Her shame. My choices? Her business. But when I chose something she didn't approve of and chose to stand by it, she realized she couldn't mold me anymore. So she lashed out the only way she knew how. I stopped feeling guilty after that. But the fallout wasn't over. Family fallout begins a broken bar. The day we returned from the honeymoon, I had 37 missed messages. Mostly from my aunt to my mom's sister and a couple from cousins I hadn't spoken to in years. They'd heard my mother's version of the story. The one where I banned her from my wedding out of spite and chose a man over family. Classic narcissist move, rewrite the story. Make yourself the victim. At first, I ignored it. I didn't owe anyone an explanation. But then my aunt left a voicemail that made my stomach drop. Your mom's not doing well. She hasn't been eating. She cries every day. She says she raised you alone and now you've abandoned her. You need to talk to her. She's your mother. I stared at the phone for a long time. Was she really suffering? Or was this another game? I talked it over with Sim and decided to do something I hadn't done in years, something I had always been too afraid to do. I wrote her a letter. Not a dramatic one. Not cruel. But truthful. The letter that changed everything. Mom, I didn't cut you off because of a ring. I cut you off because that moment showed me something I've refused to see for years. You don't respect me. You love the version of me you can control. But the moment I chose something you didn't agree with, the someone you couldn't manipulate, how you tried to destroy it. Not privately. Not gently. But in front of everyone, on what should have been the happiest day of my life. You've always disguised cruelty as concern. You mock me and call it teasing. You manipulate me and call it motherly advice. But I'm done pretending that's normal. I'm not angry anymore. I'm sad. Sad that you couldn't be happy for me. Sad that you chose power over presence. But I'm also free. And I intend to stay that way. If one day you're ready to acknowledge what you did and not gaslight, not guilt trip, but truly own it, I'll be here. Until then, I need distance. Elena. I sent it without expecting a reply. And for a while, there wasn't one. The confrontation I didn't see coming. 2 months later, I was leaving a bookstore when I saw her. My mother. Standing by the parking lot. She looked thinner. Older. Her hair was unkempt, her eyes puffy. For a split second, instinct kicked in. I wanted to run to her, ask if she was okay. But I stopped. Because I remembered the pain. The bruised fingers. The public humiliation. The silent, calculated sabotage. And most of all, I remembered how hard it was to reclaim my peace. She walked up to me and said, "You really meant it, huh? You're really done with me?" I nodded. She gave a bitter smile. "I raised you alone, Elena. I sacrificed everything for you. And then tried to ruin my wedding because it wasn't about you," I replied, keeping my voice steady. Her face fell. "You don't understand how it feels to be left out. To not matter. You matter, Mom," I said. "But you don't get to hurt people just to feel important." She didn't respond. I thought she might scream. cry, collapse into some scene. But instead, she said something I never expected. I didn't realize how far I'd gone in a broken bar until I saw the pictures. And I wasn't in a single one. That hit me. Because it told me, at least in some way, she finally understood. Closure, a broken bar, not reconciliation. She didn't ask to come back into my life that day. She didn't apologize, either. Not fully. But she did say this: "I'll leave you alone. But if the door ever opens a broken bar, I'll try to be someone who deserves to walk through it." And you know what? That was enough. Not for reconciliation, but for closure. Because for the first time, I saw my mother not as a monster, or a martyr, but as a flawed human being so desperate for significance that she'd rather burn bridges than watch someone else cross them. And I realized, that's not my burden to carry anymore. What happened after? Today, I'm still no contact. She sends holiday cards. No calls. No drama. Just quiet gestures. I haven't decided if I love or reach back. But the best revenge wasn't in banning her from my wedding. It was in becoming a woman she could no longer control. A woman who can say no and not apologize. A woman who chooses peace over people-pleasing. A woman who finally understands that you don't have to set yourself on fire to keep your mother warm. So no, I didn't scream at her at the wedding. I didn't throw the ring in her face. I didn't humiliate her in front of everyone the way she tried to do to me. Because real revenge? The kind that lasts? It's not about mirroring someone's cruelty. It's about removing their power completely. My mother doesn't get to weigh in on my decisions anymore. She doesn't get to tell me who I should love. She doesn't get to taint my joy with her bitterness. And that, to someone like her, is the ultimate punishment. Because people like that thrive on being the center of your universe. And now? She's not even in the solar system. Sometimes revenge isn't a grand act, it's a quiet revolution. It's choosing yourself when others try to make you feel small. It's drawing the line between love and control and never letting anyone cross it again. If you're in a similar place, let this be your sign: peace is worth protecting. Even from family. If this story made your heart clench or your fists tighten, show some love with a like and subscribe. And I want to hear from you. Have you ever had to walk away from someone you were supposed to love? Share your story in the comments. Your voice matters, and someone else out there might need it today.